When you tell people you're doing a film called Cockneys versus Zombies, what's the initial reaction that you get?
That's the initial reaction. The name says it all, though. I mean, it is exactly as it says on the tin, Cockneys versus Zombies, and it's a great premise. It's a great kind of action film, and today we're stuck in the middle of it. This is the busiest scene. One of the busiest scenes. There's a lot of zombie extras, and the name definitely reflects what we're doing today.
It's it does very much what the title says, and everyone's like, oh, zombie movies are great, and there seems to be an appetite for them, and we have the slow-moving zombies, which are the traditional kind. And it's comedy, and it's funny, and it's also quite violent and quite harsh at times, but it's still very much a zombie.
Did it take a lot of convincing for you to come and do this film, or did you kind of like the director and the script?
Oh yes, well, I liked both the director, and I think the script is very funny. I mean, it actually made me laugh out loud a couple of times, which is very unusual because I'm very cynical about things. No, it's a very funny script actually.
It's a great simple premise. It is what it is. It's got a real comedy throughout it, but it's it's a simple tale of two boys trying to save their granddad from an old people's home, and so they go and try and rob a bank, and during the bank robbery there's a zombie outbreak in London. Sure, standard, normal, and they've got to try and carry on and save their granddad from his old people's home, and so they get tooled up with some weapons and utter carnage with a few laughs along the way.
I play Katie Ellis, and she is the hardcore cousin of Terry and Andy, and she gets called on by them both to help with a bank job, and she's pretty competent and a little harsh.
The scene we've just seen, you're kind of armed to the teeth, so is that something you really loved? You enjoy firing the guns and all that stuff?
Well, I think visually it's always impressive when people are kind of sort of have all their weapons. I think it's a necessity that that they have them, but it's sort of the samurai sword. It's sort of like a fantasy kind of element to it, I think it's sort of visually it's just sort of striking.
And firing guns as well. We saw you earlier today, and you're really getting into the action as well.
Yes. Well, we're running away from these terrible zombies all covered in blood and wounds, and ye gods, they look awful. I didn't know what they would look like. I was imagining they would be clothed in something or other, but it's even more frightening because they look like human beings, but partially slaughtered, Puts you off your lunch,
What kind of the highlights of the zombie kills that you guys do?
Wow. I think my personal... I mean, again, we have crazy guns and we shoot them. My personal favourite, I hit one with a shovel and sort of decapitate him. I do gardening on his neck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've particularly enjoyed watching someone twist someone's head around 7 times and then pull it off.
Yeah.
That was pretty fun. But every day, I mean, it all sort of it's a blur of different horrific deaths, basically.
Yeah.
So
you wouldn't want to go like any of these guys. It's pretty
hardcore,
pretty bloody.
Yeah. Do you have a favourite zombie film as well?
I like The Living Dead at the Manchester Morgue. It's kind of an older one, but it's really scary because I was like, oh, zombies, they're not that scary. And I watched this movie and I was like, wow, they are really scary. So that would be a favourite.
What about George Romero's stuff as well? Do you like his?
Yeah, they are like beautiful movies. So yeah, I'm learning more and more about the zombie genre, and Shaun of the Dead, of course.